Hello and welcome. Today's topic is perfectionism. How do you feel about the perfectionism program? Have you ever considered that trying to be perfect is a 3D program? What does that mean? In the third dimension, we know we want the experience of feeling disconnected from the truth of who you are, from the wholeness of who you are, from your source, your abilities, your power. So you wanted to experience a separating, a disconnect. And therefore, perfectionism is a wonderful, beautiful tool in the third dimension that really allows you to feel disconnected from who you are. What does perfectionism do? Most of us collectively are trying to measure ourselves by a standard that is impossible to achieve. And how do I know that? Well, let me ask you this question. If I asked you to tell me 10 things you love about your body right now, 10 things, what are 10 things you just love about your body? Is that easy for you to do? Or is it easy for you to tell me 10 things that you don't like about your body? Which one's easier? This is an example that most of us have been trained and conditioned to feel a judgment of our body. For example, it can be on any topic, but most of us are trained and conditioned to feel a disconnection from our body. And what is that? That is an indicator that you are inside a perfectionism program. What is perfectionism? Perfectionism is you have a level, a standard that you're trying to get to, and you're noticing, you're aware, you're critical that you are not yet there. And we see that bodies is such an easy way to demonstrate the perfectionism program, because most of us are like, you're trying to become more flexible, or you're trying to become stronger, or you're trying to have longer hair, or you're trying to gain muscle, you're trying to lose fat, you're trying to, whatever it is you're trying to do. Most people are so judgmental about their bodies because they have this level, this standard that they're trying to achieve, and then they're disappointed that they do not possess it. And that is a great tool to help all these negative thoughts, all these critical thoughts, all these judgmental thoughts about you and your body and about others, right? Because you're striving for this level of perfectionism that no one can achieve. And bodies is such a great way to demonstrate this, because I know you've heard those stories of somebody that you think, you believe, you've defined as the perfect appearance, right? The perfect body. But if you go and ask that person, right, like, oh, you have the perfect body, they'll be like, nope. And you'll hear all that judgmental, all that critical, like they don't like this, they don't like this, they don't like this, right? And what is that? That was the collective agreement to be trying to achieve something that is impossible to achieve. So most all of us are influenced by the perfectionism program. How does the perfectionism program show up in your relationships? Ooh, it's really easy to see it in relationships, right? Because people you work with, people in your family, your lover, all of these relationships we expect, right? We expect people to be at a certain standard, to show up a certain way, and we hold people to the standard. And then when they do not meet the standard, why? Because they're imperfect. Why? Because sometimes they don't have enough sleep, and so they're acting out of character. Why? Maybe they need to eat and their blood sugars are off and they're acting out of character. But we get so shocked and disappointed when people are naturally imperfect. Most of us are like, oh, I can't believe she said that. I can't believe he did that. Right? But because we haven't been trained and conditioned, like, hey, we all chose to incarnate as imperfect beings. So we haven't been trained and conditioned to give each other a pass. Oh, you're just an imperfect being. Like, you're not acting like your typical normal self today. And that's okay. most of us, right, we we get triggered, and then we take it so personally, and then we're so upset, and then we're reacting, we're responding, we're like pulling away, or we're yelling, or we're demanding that they become perfect. Like, what? Perfectionism in relationships, it's bizarre, right? And so we can really see how this perfectionism program really pulled us apart. It's a beautiful tool to keep me separate from the truth of who I am, from the magnificence of who I am. And then it also keeps me separate from the magnificence of who you are. Because I only hold you, right? 3D tells me you're only great if you're almost perfect. And you cannot always, you can never be perfect, right? You're an imperfect being. And for me to have that expectation of you, or projection on you, or disappointment in you, is just an indicator that I am inside the perfection program, and I am holding you to a standard that is impossible for you to achieve, sustain, and maintain, because you are an imperfect being. And what happens if we could just give ourselves that freedom, right? Like, just give ourselves that freedom if our thoughts are being critical of ourselves, if our thoughts are being critical of others. Like, what if we can just catch it and go, oh, that's the perfectionism program. That's the judgmental, comparison, critical program popping in. And I have a choice. I can sit inside that vibration. I can sit inside the frequency of perfectionism and disappointment and critical thinking towards myself and others. Or I can choose to go, oh, not today, not this now moment. Like, that feels heavy for me. I prefer to be in my multidimensional self, in my 5D consciousness, in my 5D vibrational state of being, where my heart is just open, where I just allow people to do whatever they want to do. I don't take it personally. I don't get triggered. I don't react to other people's choices. I know everyone is imperfect. And as imperfect people, everyone gets to show up how they show up. And I can have that knowing. I can know nothing has gone wrong. And that just gives me so much more space. It's a choice. So my suggestion, what I'm doing now, is just trying to have this awareness in my day-to-day life. Teaching my 3D to 5D course has just been amazing. They say you know, the thing that you end up sharing is the thing that like supports you the most. And this awareness that I'm so much more aware all the time. Where is my state of being? Where is my consciousness right now? And sometimes, yeah, I do want it to be in the third dimension, right? I do want to get all irritated and upset about something. I do want to play small and be all judgmental. That's okay. But now I'm doing it from a choice instead of autopilot. And when I do get triggered and I catch it, like, ooh, I'm in my third dimensional programming of perfectionism right now, I can choose, like, you know what? I'm going to let this one go. I'm going to let this one slide. I'm going to give this person the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give myself the benefit of the doubt. It's always my choice. And having this tool, having this awareness, it opens things up. It makes my life easier. So I like to set the intention when I wake up. It's like, it is my dominant intention today to be in my multidimensional consciousness, to have my heart wide open, to function with my heart open, pure, and available for everything, and allowing everything for me and my thoughts, allowing everything for you and your thoughts and your behaviors. I don't need to judge any of it, and I don't need to compare any of it, and I don't need to be critical of any of it. I can if I want, but it's not required. So I like to set that intention, wake up and have the intention that today it is my dominant intention to be in my 5D multidimensional awareness, in my 5D conscious state of being. And that serves me. So thanks for listening.